Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Up right in corner we got Earob starting as the red Protoss. Upper left hand corner we got LancerX starting as the blue Protoss. Also, if I flip the colors, we just go the other way around. Lancer's asking LML if I wonder if it's the polypoid thing, the fact that they went to polypoid. I'm sure LML will count it, especially if they both agree to it. Hopefully that doesn't set a precedent though, where players are like, we can sneak this by. Anyway. This is going to be on Polestar, by the way. One of the more entertaining 4-player maps, in my opinion. A little bit more spicy. It's got the Kakaroos. Has there ever been an instance in StarCraft where they left... Looks like they repeated it. Where they left the I think there's got to be at least I know it happened in StarCraft 2 once or twice. Where like the random critter on the map created some chaos or some sort of problem. The traitor critter. I think maybe, I'm trying to recall if that happened in a pro match at some point. I think the threat of it is why they vanish. Just to make sure. Anyhow. We are seeing, let's see how it, you know what's funny is it's also if I did the red swap, it's still PvP overall. Gateway opener on both ends, neither player wanting to risk the 12 Nexus. I think I saw, I'm trying to remember who I saw play it. There was a really interesting game in BSL Pro League, actually, between DeWalt and one of the Chinese players, where he opened up 12, or where the Chinese player opened up 12 Nexus. It was fascinating. I highly recommend hunting it down and checking it out, by the way. LancerX with a much more rapid scout over Earob, although the angle might give some information to Earob. Earob wasn't looking at the probe to check, unfortunately, and that is going to give a massive lead to LancerX just in raw information. By the way, he is opening 2-gate, which is even better with everything that's happening. We'll see if Earob drops the pylon defensively. It looks like he's checking middle just in case, and then making his way around. Oftentimes when the probe comes rapidly, you have to be wary of 2-gate regardless, or early gateways, period. Simply because why else are they scouting that early? Wisdom from Artosis, which I agree with. Might want to throw some players out, make it dicey to do along those lines. So Earob's main goal right here is to stay around and see whether that geyser gets dropped and maybe get a mana pylon down. The Zealot, one Zealot drawing back here initially. It looks like we do have a probe going ahead and dropping the Simulator. LancerX, is he going to continue? So he is going for the 3 Zealots initially. Usually you want to send them, but with just the 3 Zealots and Earob seeing it ahead of time, I'm wondering if he decides to hold them back. Looks like he's still gonna, he's got them on the low ground near the natural. He's sending them now, but this feels like such a delay that I think Earob's going to have a better chance at defending this overall, although he will want to go ahead. Having this probe interior to base, it's a pylon place, by the way, is kind of an anti-manor pylon thing. Also, there's, I guess it's 3 Zealots and a probe, potentially, to create some chaos. Earob not dropping a second gateway in the space of this. He's actually drawing his probe all the way out. Dragoon now making its way to the low ground. This probe going to get ignored. And I think Earob got... Yeah, is replacing 3-on-1, and yeah, he's just gonna go raw against this. And it's gonna work out for LancerX quite a bit. This is 1 Zealot versus 3. This Zealot's not super damaged. And we got a Manor Pylon off in the lines, although it looks like the probe was wiped out in the space of that. Zealot gonna lose his life before taking out a probe. Thus far, Earob defending it fairly well, honestly. Now we got 2 Dragoons versus the Zealot, some probes walking off the line to go ahead and equalize things. 1 probe getting wiped out, but at the end of this, you usually, even with the 3 Zealots, what you're hoping for is to get a little bit of a lead. I don't know that this Manor Pylon, we'll look at that probe being locked out. This pylon should drop fairly quickly with the 2 Dragoons in place. And workers are otherwise even, and that leaves Earob up on Dragoons overall in the mid game and with much faster range. Now the question is can he capitalize? This is always kind of the follow-up question. It looks like he's going to go robotics after this. I'm always interested to see the quality of capitalization on particular advantages, and one of those particular advantages I like to see is Dragoon range. And when you have the about 30 seconds of Dragoon range, what do you do with it? Do you just sit back? Do you go for some pot shots on the low ground? Do you just make sure you got some units fanned out to maybe deny a natural expansion as range comes up so much later? I think Earob in the space of this. He's got that second gateway. So interesting, going robotics into second gateway on the edge of this. Like, he's not going to be... Here's the thing, with range, you're not going to be able to break, but you might be able to pick off a Dragoon. Could wait for 4 and then go. Instead, it looks like he's just going to seal things up. I think he was happy with the defense as well. So worker count even. Oddly enough, a slight supply lead to LancerX, but a brief delay in tech, and Earob's going to end up with that robotics facility a little bit more quickly. Going observer on top of it. This is an opportunity for LancerX. Going robo himself. If he skips observatory, he'll end up in a pretty decent situation. Overall, he'll be down information, but we'll be able to recover otherwise. That's at the risk that there were potentially DTs on the map. Granted. 5 Dragoons making their way out. I mean, we still are seeing the Dragoon pump here from Earob, so he's at 0 risk. He's playing very, very cautiously. Fanning out defensively in his own base right this second, and he's not even staging them playing... He's, I guess, LancerX maybe in his head a little bit. Definitely expecting another attack, which is actually coming from LancerX. LancerX now moving forward. We got the AI pylon here on the front edge, but as far as just army versus army, Earob has the lead. He's also got that Reaver coming along that side. LancerX moving up, I believe. So he's got these 2 Zealots that are trailing, but this is closer reinforcement as well. And oof, Dragoon's having some trouble right there. The Zealot's going to fan forward. Looks like they're just going to peck away. And did the Earob cancel that Nexus in the space of this? That's a bit shocking. Certainly delaying his Nexus, and Lancer, he's definitely in Earob's head right this second. Because, okay, now Earob dropping the Nexus. Now that the Reaver's on the ground, he's a little bit hurt for supply. Might force a cancellation here. LancerX now retreating, but in the midst of that exchange, he's going to end up with a Nexus that's much earlier. As Earob honestly playing, in my opinion, a little bit overcautious. And I'm kind of shocked that he staged the Dragoon so far back in that defensive slot. I think that was a big aspect of it. He's going to walk up and see that that Nexus is finishing much earlier. Now going for Reaver speed to maybe... We'll see if he goes for a quick drop on the follow-up. LancerX staging his army on that ridge line to go ahead and repel any sort of counterattack. When the Reavers are out, there is the possibility of that. If the Observer cycles its way back, by the way, after checking the interior, looks like we are seeing... Are we seeing that? Yeah, so we got the support bay, but no observers as of... never mind, a single observer out, which is giving Earob some vision. If Earob can move this in at just such an angle, in quotes, air quotes, that you guys can't see, it can lead to a situation where Earob can get some free Reaver pot shots against this ball, which can be particularly effective. These probes going way out of the way. LancerX playing very, very risky here because he's at a 2 Reaver deficit and his army kind of scrambling, but with perfect time. Oh, the Observer going to get picked off. That's what I was about to say. How did he have the sense to pull that back? Now let's see how brave Earob is, because he's got to see the edge of that army. Just needs to peek it up a little bit further. Sees the edge of that army. Yeah, and he can just take some free shots with that Reaver. I think LancerX recognizing that, initially stepping forward and then stepping back. Good play there from LancerX, recognizing the risk and delaying as long as possible to buy himself some time. In the meantime, Reaver shuttle speed is complete. Earob is down on workers. Lancer just macroing a little bit better. Earob still has the tech lead overall. Let's see if that turns around. Lancer running all the way to the main, but the Dragoons not quite in time to intercept the Reavers, who are getting some good pot shots on the main. A lot of kills in worker count. It's going to give Earob the big worker lead. He is sacrificing at least a Reaver, still chasing the workers down. Should exit. Large army. Let's see if Earob, he should reposition to this lip, because now all he has to do is defend and absorb and not get counterattacked, and he should be in good straits. But ceding the low to high ground and going for a full retreat, potentially back to his main. He's got the 2 Reavers in place. I've actually been a little bit surprised about how aggressive these guys have been with their Reavers overall. The Observer trying to track down that army. And this is again another situation where Earob might be able to position the observer, just so, in quotes, move it up along that corner and have the Reavers sneak up with a support army. I think Earob is also a little bit concerned. Is he going to build another observing space? No, just continuing through the Reavers. But might be concerned about a counterattack of Reavers diving into his natural at this stage. Yeah, now the observer scooting a little bit forward. Do we see the crawl? Looks like Earob's happy to sit back and macro in the space of this. He's running off 5 gateways, by the way, compared to the 4 on the opposite side. Lancer actually has about an equivalent army right here. He's scooting up with his Reavers. It looks like Earob has a pretty good sense of the timing of all this. A few Dragoons in position. Very nice micro from Lancer, drawing back, but now all of this is going to get spotted. Do the Reavers get the full shot? These Reavers, the shuttle's gone, they're exposed. And now Earob can just go for the full route. He just needs to get the Reavers towards the front of this army and pick off that additional Reaver in the space of this, so it's getting pot shots into the ball of this. And Earob, where's the oh, Earob's left a whole lot of army to the north! So what was turning into a huge advantage is now turning into a disaster. And Earob has to retreat. There's the rest of his army. That should have been a rout. And instead, things actually working out decently for LancerX. That's so unfortunate. Oh, that's brutal. Lancer is still way behind, by the way, but he's got some lifeblood in the midst of this. 2 Reavers now on the low ground. Looks like he's got 9 Dragoons otherwise. This Reaver is going to get eliminated, wiped off the map. These Dragoons sacrificing their lives to push back the forward Dragoon force. Now keep in mind, Earob can resupply this fairly rapidly. He does need to pause around this worker count right here. This will give LancerX some opportunity to sneak back into this. Damage upgrading. It's kind of an interesting scenario, actually, where this might flip back to Lancer, only because while Earob has a solid economy to work with right this second, he's a bit concerned about this Dragoon force, and so he's where he should have been in a position to go ahead and secure a third ahead of Lancer. He's kind of hunting this army out instead. And he's not going for the full pummel counterattack in the space of this. Needs to be very careful with the shuttle with the smaller Dragoon count. Hasn't dropped the Reavers again and is late. That shuttle hasn't gotten picked off. One of the Reavers has gotten picked off, however. Okay engagement there for Earob. He's going to chase down the rest of the forces, draw that shuttle back to scoop up another Reaver in mid-space. And now that he holds the forward line, this might catch Earob by surprise. Yeah, Reaver scooting in. The observer spots it last second. The probes need to flee now. And all of a sudden, Lancer is ahead, or even on workers at the very least. The Dragoon's scattering, and is going to, at least in the short term, have a slight economic lead. He's using this opportunity of confusion to go ahead and scramble the Dragoons forward. The Reaver is getting abandoned in the space of this, which is going to be easy pickings. Earob trying to draw back, realizes it's kind of a lost cause, so going to go ahead and drop a shot regardless. 2 Reavers here. We don't have the Scarab damage upgrade yet, so Earob should delay this just slightly before he engages. Lancer actually has the vision advantage on that corner, but is going to draw back. Earob has managed to get himself a space to get that third base up. And Lancer going to go ahead and pull back. Is he going to grab a base of his own in the midst of this? Up 6 workers, down a considerable portion of army, but Earob walking piecemeal into this Dragoon force at the line. The Reaver is now forward. Now keep in mind, the Scarab damage upgrade is in Earob's favor right this second. And he's got 2 Reavers versus just the 1, but it needs to be in the field. 1 big shot on at least a Reaver right there. The Reavers need to be in this fight to turn that tide. Took a forward shot instead, and Lancer just with better concavity and several of the Dragoons not participating, and as a result, Earob again not having as much effect as he might have otherwise with a little bit more army cohesion. Gonna redrop and repush here. Still is ahead only in the fact that he's got that third. Might want to pull out if he can right this second here before he gets swarmed. At least move to the high ground. Probes transferring towards that third base should tack on a few additional gateways. What's gateway count other direction. Looks like we do have the 5 gateways. And Lancer going to go ahead and grab his third in the space of this. This is a great pocket to volley some of these Reaver shots into, by the way. I'm not sure how Lancer would be able to, or how Earob would be able to sneak out an Observer at this stage, because he just has to keep building Reavers. But an Observer along this corner would be absolutely huge. Lancer looking to sweep around, but Earob actually already on top of it, so good anticipation. I will say that 2 Reavers back in this corner are very, very strong. I'm not sure how Earob recognized this army was moving this direction, but brilliant insight. Sending a shuttle out onto the map. I think that might just be to scout. Dragoon's still pinned to that natural in the shorthand, but right now Earob all of a sudden out of position. Lancer, I think, recognizing he needs to get aggressive with that delayed third pressing up, but with this, it's opening up another drop opportunity for Earob at the natural. Does Lancer recognize it? Lancer getting Dragoons in place at the very last moment here. Still going to drop in the space of this. Very aggressive play. Completely eliminates the probe line at that natural expansion. And Lancer now going for a counterattack. Earob in a pocket. Can he step up and get the oh. Isn't stepping up to get the shuttle. The shuttle's been wiped out. Now he's might want to walk his way back here. Needs to be a little bit careful. The shuttle's a ways out. The Reaver's somewhat exposed, but again, these volley shots are huge, especially with the Dragoons in pockets like this. With that damage upgrade, it's absolutely leveling the field. This Reaver a bit exposed. That's a big amount of Dragoons, but they have to go through a small shot. Unfortunately, the Reaver was abandoned. Earob still has this third base up, is able to reinforce, it looks like, with a brand new shuttle and a brand new Reaver on the corner. And Lancer sitting on the exterior. Earob still holding the supply lead. He needs to turn this into, or I should say the macro lead should turn this into a supply lead. Third base is up and running for Lancer, by the way. No third gas as of yet for either player. And no transition to Templar tech. The main is mined out, by the way, for both guys. And unfortunately, Earob, despite having all these resources at his hands, a lot of those probes are idle right this second, and they're just making their way up. I think Earob recognizing the danger, trying to press into this. Shuttle wiped out, but when all of the Reavers are taken off the map, Earob is in a severe deficit of Dragoons. I'm not sure where the rest of his army is. Looks like it's making its way across. Unfortunately, this might be too little too late, and it has to walk uphill. This is a critical base for Earob to hold. Probes under fire, and some nice, solid micro-fire currently between the 2 Dragoon lines, and I think that's going to be GG. Lancer able to pull it out here. Should be able to wipe out this third. An emergency Reaver making its way in, but that's not going to last very long. And Lancer, it looks like, yeah, he's going to take it 3-0. The engagement's just superior on this map. All the way across. Poor Earob. It'll be good to see him next season. I think LML did officially rule this. I'll check the 4th replay to see on my anti-spoiler, but I'm going to presume that it was 3-0. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.